Will take over, making the Abu Dhabi track a unique racing experience. Let's look at the grid order for today's race while the cars make their final preparations.
Hello viewers, and welcome to a race on Abu Dhabi then. Again, racing as Lewis Hamilton. Basically, when you learn the handling of one car, you just like to stick with it for a moment while we record these videos. Abu Dhabi is a circuit I've raced a fair bit on previous versions, so it makes it a nice sort of barometer to, sort of analyse in terms of just how it compares to previous versions and just the added depth of the feedback that there is this year. I felt last year that the wheels just felt like they're spinning around too much, almost a bit like Forza in that way, that they sometimes don't feel right to me in terms of the grip, and they've done a better job this year. It's feeling much more natural. I do wish there was a bit more in the way of, as I say, force feedback down the straights in terms of tarmac texture detail, but either way I think they've done a really good job here. And I look forward to playing it more on my home setup than the setup that they had there, because I didn't fit into it very well either and just couldn't really get a feel for it. But you need to be much more aggressive out of the slower corners than I'm being to really get out. You can see the Williams marching past me there. Part of that might be down to my gear changes not being quick enough. Part of that might be down to, I think it's really down to the fact that I'm not quick enough on some of these exits. I'm trying to be too smooth when the game really wants you to be aggressive now. It wants you to put your foot down and get some opposite lock, which is a different way of driving to the old F1 style, which is very much about leaning on the tyres rather than spinning them up as we go through the chicane at the end of that section. And so now this is a race here with Lewis behind Valtteri Bottas as he tries to race catch up with Nico Rosberg. For me though, you'll see my driving sort of alter lap to lap as I'm testing different braking points and getting down through the gears. It sounds like a simple thing, but when you're used to racing with 6-speed and then you suddenly go up to 8-speed, suddenly your gearing's all over the place. And I have to admit, I couldn't remember what gear to take each corner in, because you're taking the corners in a much higher gear now than you were, say, on previous F1 games, and the torque is so high that you never really go much below third. I go into second, you're probably supposed to stay in third a lot of the time. So it's really just a case of doing your laps, learning your correct gear changes, and I think that's when you find your pace. And then it's really about getting on the power much quicker out of these slow corners and controlling the slide. So you're almost opposite locking as you go into each corner to balance the car as it comes out. You'll see I'm getting a bit quicker there in the hairpin. Little touch, and that lost me some traction there as well. And I think this was the race where I started using DRS a bit more. I hadn't been using my DRS to this point, and trying to close up down the straight. Braking, I was probably still braking a little bit early. I was still trying to find my feet in terms of braking points, taking a wider line because I knew the Ferrari was there, and then taking my line, claiming it on the exit, and now just really trying to keep a nice smooth line and then gradually build on getting more and more aggressive on terms of how I was driving. I'd seen David doing it round Singapore, done a cracking job there, and that really gave me a good idea on how to drive it. It's one of those things where you watch other people drive and it really helps your driving. Sometimes you just see a corner being taken properly, or the sort of gearing approach, and then you can get a little bit more out of it. At that time I was going too quick. I was going a bit quicker that time than I was the lap before, so it just kind of threw me off a bit. So it works sort of early on as you find your feet and find your speed. We see that sun setting as well. It'd be nice to see the full transition from day to night on this version. Of course it never rains in Abu Dhabi. I don't think it's ever rained during a Grand Prix there, but it would be interesting to see what rain looks like on the circuit, because we've not seen rain in a race there before. As you see, I clipped the curb, but the opposite lock was fine. I managed to get around the corner okay, and you can move around with the wheel a lot more as well than I'm doing here. I am still keeping it quite smooth and steady, so there's a lot more speed for me to find in each lap. I mean, I'm a good couple of seconds off where I need to be in terms of lap time at the moment, and not that this was an event to do that. I mean, I just popped along, sat in a demo pod and did some laps to record some videos, but I think when you guys have got it at home and you're you're racing with it, maximising your lap time. Being aggressive with the car is going to be key. Now, in the previous video, I talked a bit about, obviously, some of the options will be in the game, and we're going to go through that in another video. When I get the final game through, I'm not certain this is the final. I think it is pretty much near enough. But when I get the final game, I'll just go through the options, and then I'll spend a video. People have asked me about crashes and stuff like that. We'll show some of the damage modelling and other bits and pieces there. And if you have any questions, do put them in the comments, put them on Twitter, and I'll try to answer them in these videos. I do get a lot of the same question off people, so often I don't get back to everybody on those, but I do try and answer as many as I can in the videos so that you know what it's all about. But I think ultimately this game is going to be all about the core driving experience and the foundation for building F1 games over the next few years. So I'm getting a bit more aggressive with the curbs, trying to close up now, going a bit wide. But that's it for this race. Unable to make up any positions, but certainly enjoyed the run. Back on the podium. Lewis won't be happy in third place. But that was it for this video, and there'll be more from me very soon.